you know, of course, it's battleship gray everywhere, so. But,
Well, I
wow.
mean, if the board would like, I mean, to have a tour or see it run, I mean, it can't run right now, obviously, but come springtime, if we'd like to schedule a visit over there, it would be pretty cool. It is pretty, there is a great sense of, I mean, I'm sure for Barney, even more of a pride, like when it was running that Friday, I was pretty pumped up.
Yeah, I'd love to see it.
I was on the phone with you and you were watching a meet or something, you're saying, look at this.
You were on the phone, it's not that loud in there?
No, he was in his office, I
Oh,
believe.
No.
It wasn't that
It's
bad
not
though.
that- It's enclosed, I mean, there's
Yeah,
a,
when the
doors are closed.
Okay.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I'd love to see it run, both of them, yeah.
Sure.
Next spring,
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
yeah.
Alrighty, the 5-year plan, the material has arrived and we've pushed back our first project really because of the fiber extension to city facilities project. That's taking priority. You're all aware of the voice over IP phone system project that's coming through the pipelines. Chief Buchla and I made a presentation to the council on the 21st, and I show a $600,000 net savings over a decade time span, and that was before we were just alerted in the last week. There's a 15% increase on our AT&T phone system starting January 1st. So there's a very high incentive to get this project done as fast as possible, especially the fiber portion. That's the backbone of the system. If the fiber portion doesn't get done now, it'll have to wait till spring. And every month, the city and Light and Power and every department doesn't have that phone system. It's like $6,000 to $8,000 in expenses we're paying to AT&T that we could not be paying. So I've asked Ryan to do whatever we can do to get that phone system or the fiber portion of the project done as soon as possible. But depending on the weather and Amcom Telecommunications, who's our fiber vendor that we'll be meeting with next Wednesday, we're not sure.
are we hanging the fiber or are they hanging the fiber?
They'll be hanging the fiber.
Right.
We're doing a lot of the underground work, and to expedite the process, it may be where we're gonna, instead of trenching the parking lot by City Hall, we're gonna have to hire a boring company, and that cost of the project's gonna go up, but it'll still be a significant savings compared to how much we're paying in AT&T's costs. Does that make sense?
Right, I understand that. I guess I'm just wanting to make sure that you and Steve Buchla, I mean, and the city have got all the details worked out that everybody's doing their fair share or, you know, that.
Lowell Light and Power will be billing,
Okay.
if that's what you're getting at, and that cost has been very transparently disclosed to both the city manager and Chief Buchla, and it was in my PowerPoint. So, yes, they're aware of that.
And that fiber's gonna extend to all municipalities at this time, or just from City Hall to here, or what's the short term and then expandability?
Well,
of
Light
all
and
of
Power's fiber loop runs from our substation on Bowes Road, down Bowes to South Hudson, up through North Hudson, connects to this building, as well as our Chatham Energy Center on, obviously, Chatham Street. We'll be extending off of that fiber loop to the fire department, the water treatment plant, the wastewater treatment plant, the DPW, the library, the police department, and City Hall. So those 7 facilities. And we'll all be on one big network, and the main system will be hosted at City Hall. And we actually have a conference call with all of the vendors and parties to go over the statement of work for the project tomorrow at 1 p.m. So we're doing everything we can to move forward with that as fast as possible, but still make sure it works. You know, you don't want to go so fast that you miss something or didn't think about it.
When you mention hanging fiber, is most of it underground though, Ryan?
The majority of it around downtown is, but there's going to be a fairly lengthy overhead section that goes out from Bowes Road substation all the way down to the water treatment facility.
Okay,
Just because it would be really expensive to go that length underground.
okay.
And there's small amounts of overhead right here near the office, but nothing, just a span or two.
I will send everyone the PowerPoint presentation that actually has overhead shots via Google Maps, and I have highlighted in different colors the sections that will be overhead and underground. So it'll be very clear for everybody to see or visualize what we're going to be doing. So I'll send that out via email tomorrow.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
What's the weather issue, just
If it freezes,
freezing?
frost,
You
too much.
can't trench or when it's
Right.
frozen? Okay.
Fighting the frozen ground isn't really any fun.
Yeah. Okay.
So we kind of covered a later part of the project, but other system projects, Ryan and I had a meeting with King Milling and their head of engineering last week about the overhead to underground project that they're hoping to pursue. And where we stand right now is in the next 45 days, they're going to be receiving a complete scope of work to do that from their engineer. Lowell Light and Power will review that, see what we can contribute to the project, because we want to contribute something, whether it's materials, time, our guys doing some of that work. So within 45 days, we expect to get that from them, and then really, we'll be able to start talking details at the board level.
So, question for Alan. So what's the project that South Broadway, that you guys,
I talked with Rich Lombard about this.
For the sewer system?
well, the sewer, I mean, so I assume you're, tearing up all of South Broadway, that 69,000 that you guys approved on Monday night for the engineering in South Broadway. So my question is that whole South Broadway gonna be a Light and Power, King Milling? Is it, doing everything all at one time, or?
I would hope so, but that's really up to Mike, isn't it? Mike Burns to.
Yeah, we don't know what the timeline will be, and that's what the engineering was approved for on Monday's council meeting.
Okay.
I think King Milling wants to do this sooner than later. However, in that scope of work that the city is doing, there is a steel casing for conduit for the electric to go under. So they're aware of the project that we're doing with King Milling. And anything that we can do together, we'll try and do.
Okay, I just
Yes,
wanted to make
we're
sure.
very aware of what they're doing.
In fact, you got the ground open, do what you can do now.
Ryan, do you have anything more to speak on this?
No, I think he covered it.
Okay. Yeah, but they're aware of what we're doing and vice versa.
I think Mike and Steve and Rich, they all communicate so well.
Yes.
They have it covered better than I do.
While they're doing work along South Broadway, though, any future conduits for stuff that King Milling wants to have expanded on will get installed at that time while the road's opened up.
Right.
All the crossings that go across to the east side of Broadway are going to be future expansion for the area where Michigan Wire was. There isn't really anything set in stone what they're building right now, but there is future conduits that are going to be built across there. But just wait till the city sewer and water project goes down through there, and then when they're done, we can put the conduits across before the paving happens. It'll be really simple.
That's
It's just
smart.
future conduits anyways, so it's
Right.
nothing that has to be there.
Isn't that similar to when you cross the river with the conduit and now we're gonna use it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
conduit
really Thinking
And the
ahead.
great scope of things is pretty cheap. It's much harder to go back and tear up a road and put in conduit. You might as well just, even if it's never used, who cares? On that one time it pays off, it saves every other time you put conduit and never used it. So it's really just hedging your bet. Long-term natural gas supply, and Marty, this relates to the turbines. We've already talked about the fact that we can't run for a number of months throughout the year. Consumers Energy has a board of directors meeting this month and a company-wide call on the 21st of December. I have a call with consumers after their call in hopes of being filled in about their plans or their lack of plans to upgrade gas infrastructure in the Lowell area that could potentially solve our entire gas problem. So I have that call the 21st. I also signed a confidentiality agreement with a vendor who I expect to send me a proposal to build pretty much our own pipeline here. I don't have the proposal yet, but I've been working with a vendor, and I hope to get that proposal within the, I would have thought would have had it today, so hopefully tomorrow or early next week. And then, obviously, something like that would go into closed session that we discuss. So, yeah, this is on the top of my list of things to get done. mean, it won't happen tomorrow, but it needs to get done. Standby generator and gas compressor options. This has been discussed numerous times. We expect to purchase a standby generator sometime in 2017. So,
So,
do you want me to elaborate on that?
yeah, so, I mean, just help them bring.
So
up to
right now, our combustion turbines, if there were to be a total blackout, transmission line goes down, we can't actually start our combustion turbines, which is a major problem because we have them here to provide energy to the town. You actually need a standby, either natural gas or diesel generator to run for approximately a half an hour so those two units can start. So the idea is for Lowell Light and Power to buy a diesel standby generator before the next time we can run.
Is that so that you can build up enough energy to tell them to start, or is
Well,
that,
right now
you're
we
talking
have-
an air compressor, so are you building, do they start on air?
No, we have electric motors.
Okay.
We have to start, right now we have to start the gas compressor.
The
Is,
gas compressor is subsidizing, is giving us enough pressure because Consumers Power, if they put their new lines and everything in, the gas compressors,
Well, it sounds like you're saying it's not just the gas, right? It's,
right, but those can go. If they
Depending on
put
what
big
pressure
enough line,
comes in.
what pressure comes in.
We can get a smaller compressor.
Oh, so it's, you're talking then you're beefing up the gas pressure coming into the engines because of the volume that they're intaking,
Right.
like a supercharger on the motor, it's just,
And then we also have a 125 horsepower motor, starting motor with a turbine and ventilation fans, etc. And those all have to start in order to get the turbine running. Once it's running, then we're producing their own power.
And they're used, the part of the generation of the turbine is used for parasitic load and the other type of stuff.
okay.
And the board has talked about this, the standby generator. We need that for there, but we're talking about getting a large enough one that's mobile, that if we need to take it out to the high school for an emergency, or if another community, we're trying to build on that, not just put a permanent, generator over there, but have it portable and be able to use it for other needs.
The Lowell School Systems has an agreement with the Red Cross already to provide cots and basic essentials if there were ever to be a disaster. However, there wouldn't be power to wherever they decide to set up shop, and that happens to be the middle school. So the idea would be for Lowell Light and Power to put some sort of transfer switch on the middle school, take that 350 kW generator, bring it to the school so they could operate. So it would be a dual purpose generator.
Is that diesel or is that?
Diesel.
Okay.
Alrighty, nothing new with the school solar project. Advanced metering infrastructure project, AMI. Remaining meters for the inventory that need to be installed have been ordered actually a month or so ago and will be here in January and February. The SUS platform and mobile application, as Julie is very well aware of, she's copied on all the emails, has been going much slower than we had hoped. Dafron, our software provider, while they're great people, they do let us down in some things, and this is just another instance of that. What Dafron's needed to do is they need to create a query with a wealth of data that's sent to SUS, Smart Utility Systems, every day, so that payment information, address information, telephone numbers, emails, login credentials is updated, so it's almost like real time. Dafron just has not been able to get the format and layout and sending this file in the correct way to SUS done. However, I got an email, I believe yesterday, from Julie Henry, our point of contact at Dafron, that they believe they have the final version of the final file ready for SUS to check. And there's been many versions that they've tried to check already, but they believe they're there. This is the last piece that would allow us to launch the app. So we're waiting on Dafron, so hopefully soon.
Do you have any way to hold them back? Do we owe them any monies, anything like that part of it? Has it been paid? What are you doing, Julie, to try to?
I've been trying to contact our contact daily and, be in contact with her and ask her the same questions that the SUS is. It's not working. I mean, they're just slow. Anytime we have
We've
something-
talked about potentially switching software vendors, but I think to me, it seems we've so much invested with them. I don't know, it would just be such a difficult process, and we'd have to look at the cost savings, if any. I mean, I don't think we're paying a lot to Dafron, but
Sure.
we'd have to analyze that. Anyway, we're gonna get it done. They always get it done, just not as fast as we want.
That's true.
They get it done, yeah. That's all I had to say about that. Transmission investment, nothing's new. I reached out to Peter Loy at the MPPA, but have not heard back from him yet. Fiber to the home, there is something new, because I reached out to Ryan Peel at Virgin's Broadband, and we plan to meet, I believe, next Thursday afternoon about his goal of hanging fiber on low light and power poles to connect his fiber on the north and south ends of town. So we're going to talk about that, as well as the potential for him. And it's a very high level discussion. We're going to have to get the board and the council involved and the attorney. Have a discussion of, he would like to talk about a joint partnership of Light and Power and Virgin's Broadband, somehow working together to extend fiber to city residents. And have this be the head end, because our communication room right here has fiber and servers and everything. The only way I can think of that happening is to set something up similar to like the cable TV. We'd have like an advisory board, and Low Light and Power would actually have a separate set of financials, and we would actually be the fiber company, and he knows the ins and outs of the business, potentially just hiring him or using him as a subcontractor to do all the work. And we'd collect the money, we'd be the branding. So I'm not sure, we'll see where the conversation goes, but he does have goals for 2017 to at least hang the fiber on our poles, which we would do, but also exploring these different options.
For a fee.
Yes.
Right, yeah. Yeah, there is a fee. Although that's something else, he's talked about potentially giving us internet for free instead of charging a fee, and we'd have to weigh that out and the legality of that. I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but there's many
Right.
things just to brainstorm and how this could be a partnership. So we'll see what's even legal or not legal or
Right.
possible.
We were just working with a company, a township, Laketon Township over in Allegan, the same thing. They wanted to put a dark fiber, they wanted us to be the internet provider. There's a lot of things that have to go into that
Yeah,
research. And
it's,
actually, it went out to vote by the people. It was actually a vote, and they did vote it down, because everybody wanted to have their own. I want Comcast, you want this, or you want that, and so it's a lot that has to go into it.
right.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen in the next couple months. It's gonna be very in-depth analysis, yeah, realistically. Fiber extension to city facilities, citywide phone project, we already discussed this. Diesel generator and equipment removal at the Broadway facility. Discussed this a little bit when I talked about the income statement, but the heating cooling tower was removed on the south end of the building, and it looks a lot better, as well as the aesthetics at our warehouse. I took all that money to use in different parts of the budget. Over by Chatham, I mean, not the biodigester side, but the side we can control, looks awesome. So, I mean, the outside looks great, the inside looks very organized, it looks cleaner than it ever has. So aesthetically, it looks great, and I don't think we need to spend any money there at this time. So thanks, Ryan.
So I see that the boiler's gone.
Boiler's gone, and it was determined, and Barney verified, and Ryan, that boiler could not be used
Right.
to ever start a steam turbine that we would need, so it was really just no value to us. So it's not.
Scrap metal.
Scrap metal. Lion Shack, Mike and I and the city attorney actually had a conference call today about the potential sale or lease of the Lion Shack, and the process of that is the following. The first would be to do a title search, see if there's anything on the title or anything restricted covenants, things like that, and Dick Wentz in the process of doing that. It would then have to go to the Light and Power Board and the City Council for discussion if the property was excess property that wasn't needed, and they would have to take action that they would, yes, be okay leasing or selling the property, or then they would immediately give feedback of what would an RFP look like? Do they want to restrict it to only being retail or a restaurant or an office space, things like that. So there would have to be the development and creation of an RFP that would be used in an advertisement to anybody who would like to pursue the purchase or lease of that property. Then we would receive proposals and go through that process. So that's what it looks like. So that title search at least is going on right now. And I would expect in January or February, the city manager, Mike Burns, to at least talk about it with the council. And I'll also talk about it with you in a formal conversation in January. Sound good?
I mean, we talked a little bit, and I don't know where the rest of the members sit on the fence. We talked about before was leasing it, but the board wasn't excited about selling it because we didn't know what future that it might have for the city. So again, I don't know where everybody else sits, but that's kind of how I recall
Yeah.
the conversation being.
That's exactly what, how I felt about it. I didn't want to just release it and sell it. There's always a future for, you know, kids having a, you know, throwing a fishing pole over the bank and, you know, having it, you know, city property or useful other ways too. But I didn't want to sell it. Leasing, that's different ballgame.
With the generators being removed in this building, do you guys have plans for that side of the building?
We don't have plans. The person I'm talking with about building the pipeline, I've actually given him the specs, and I have Tom Russo dig out the old manuals. He claims to potentially have somebody who's very interested in them, although I've heard that many times, and normally it's been, we can pay someone $50,000 or $60,000 for them to take them, which is, for me, is hard to do if we
Yeah.
don't have any use for the space.
So what happens when they're removed? Do you have plans for that area?
No, we don't. We have something.
That's a really cool part of this building.
It is
The whole
very cool.
building is amazing, but that's a really cool section too. I just was wondering if you had any thoughts or plans.
No, that'd be something where I'd really have to get with Ryan. I mean, the office staff doesn't have any use. It would have to be something in the distribution department if we could renovate it or store inventory or a truck. I have no idea.
Okay.
Or lease it out to a business.
Yeah, microbrewery. rock climbing.
Climbing, that'd be pretty cool. Paintball arena, or I don't know, laser tag.
Roller derby.
As a business owner here in town, and have my business right behind us here, I get a lot of people come in and ask about that line building all the time. Why is it still sitting empty? Why won't they do something with it? Main Street's from the river this way now, we're all full. A lady from, I think, Rockford bought the last 2 buildings across the street from me. So now we've got all this retail going on, and now we've got people coming in and going, where can we rent space? You know, and I rent space in the back of my building, as you, and sometimes renters aren't all that fun. But I just think it's a great way to utilize the building and generate income.
Right.
You know, you just collect money and
The one problem, I'm gonna just admit, right? Economic development, things like this, I haven't had much experience with it. It's not my forte, and I'm gonna learn a lot more. Mike Burns has had great experience in this, and Dick is very wise in this area. From the conversations we've had, they do say it's much easier with a bank with a sale. And it's just very hard unless you get a long lease for a bank to actually go forward and give them lending. We'll have to explore that more, but just want to put that in your mind so we don't I don't bring this up in January and you just shoot it down because you haven't thought about it, but we'll see what happens, but that's what I've been told thus far.
Isn't part of that due to the city's limited to 10-year
10 year.
contract? Because that's why we had that
Vote.
charter vote 3 years ago or whenever.
Yeah,
but
they can't give a,
To try to
Boy
extend it
Scouts
to
camp, I think it is.
to 30 years instead of, because for this reason, for a lot of the economic development, it's kind of hard to get businesses to commit to a 10-year
right.
when they're putting in 20 years worth of investment.
And from what Mike Burns has said, there's like callback provisions and you have to meet different milestones if you were ever to sell it, or you can put restrictive covenants on the deed that it can only be this type of business, this type of business, this type of business, that you don't want certain types of businesses that might be a black eye
Yeah.
going there.
Exactly.
That's why council and board would have to give their opinion on what the RFP would look like. So, not saying it has to be a sale, but from what I've been told, it makes it a lot easier and more likely to even do something with it, so. Just to prep you. Alden Ridge, nothing new at this time. However, there is going to be a new condominium subdivision type of thing on Alden Nash, just north of Foreman on the east side of the road. I believe it's the Weggy property. It's called Harvest Meadows Condominiums. And Ryan and I have a meeting with, I don't know much at this time, I really don't. We just set up a meeting, this is where we're gonna learn more, but it looks to be potentially 120, 130 residential units that they would like light and power to serve. So it'd be a great way to increase our rate base, and obviously the city benefits because we pay a pilot payment on everything that we sell. We pay 4.5% of our net sales to the city that goes to the general fund. And right now it's $370,000 a year, but so obviously if we're selling more electricity, it benefits us, benefits our customers, and benefits City Hall.
Have they talked to the city, like Mike, have they talked to him? Because I'm wondering, if they're expecting to hook up to the water and the sewer system, can we handle that?
I'm not sure. We discussed it at today's directors meeting this morning, so they are aware, and I imagine Mike and Rich will look into it more.
Yeah, they're on top of it.
But wouldn't that be through Virgin's?
Yeah, I'm not sure. It is Virgin's Township there.
Because doesn't the school get the city water?
School is
through-
city water.
But
Yep.
isn't that through Lowell Township that they get that water?
Yeah, I think so.
It's not through this, I don't believe it's through the city, it's,
Some sort of a,
it's,
Is that how that works? Okay.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
I'm pretty, my father-in-law was part of that when the school was going in, and again, Lowell Township purchases water and sewer through the city. And
Yeah, I
At the
can't
time, I
say
don't
either
think
way.
the city didn't have any more capacity or whatever, but the township did, so the township sold them I believe, the water and sewer.
okay,
Lot to look at, but we like growth.
right. So anyway, we have a meeting, and that'll be great for us. Couple other things. We are going to be updating our website. Years ago, I mean, not many years ago, but 4 or 5 years ago, we redid our website in conjunction with the city, and we went with a local vendor, i2 Integration, and they have a both similar look and feel, which is kind of getting outdated. We were notified, I think a couple weeks ago, Sharon, that our website no longer will be supported by i2 Integration because our website needs to be PCI compliant, which is payment card industry, because of the way we process payments on our website. And i2 Integration just does not have a lot of customers that need this new compliance. So they're saying, hey, we appreciate it, we'll help you transition to a new vendor. So we have a choice to find a different .nuke vendor out in the marketplace that we don't know. However, Betsy Davidson from Adorio Technologies now creates and manages websites. She did not when 4 or 5 years ago when we wanted to create a website, but she now does this type of work. She does all of our IT work anyway. I talked with Mike, I said, hey, I don't want to just go off on my own and create this new website that doesn't have a look and feel, but our website just like, it's going to be like down. Like, no, you don't have a website unless we do something. Mike said, you do what you have to do. He's looking at the future of redoing their website. So at this time, we're going to move forward with Adorio, recreate our website. As part of that, I'd like, and this is a huge project for Nicole, all the information is going to be updated. It's going to be relevant, neat, clean, applicable. I'd like updated bios from all the board members. In addition, I am going to have Betsy create email addresses for all the board members. Right now, you're all using your personal email, and this isn't meant to be an inconvenience. The city council has individual emails through City Hall. With all the FOIA stuff out there, I think it would be a lot cleaner for any discussion or emails that I send to be on a low light and power email. If there were ever to be some sort of investigation, or somebody were to get a court order and say, hey, I want to inspect your email, they would have access to all your they could see all your personal emails as well. So that's something that's going to be set up for all the board members, and Betsy can actually go on your phone or go on your computer at home and make it very easy for you to get to and set everything up. So I don't want this to be an inconvenience, but I want to make sure we do upgrade our website, our IT and stuff like that. And then along with that, kind of with the technology, I'd like to, Alan now gets his board packets via email on a tablet. And I talked with Bill Cook, the general manager of the City of Zeeland this morning. Their council and board has gone to tablets, and actually they're on their second generation. And they use this cool feature called Dropbox, where we can put a document in Dropbox, and a tablet will have the ability to go into that Dropbox and pick up the board packet. You can pick up council packets, policies, other documents, employee rosters, whatever else have you. It's very easy. There was some resistance from the Zeeland Council and Board, but after they saw it and got used to it, they really like it. And plus, it's an iPad that you can take home and use, for other cool things. It doesn't have to only be for business. So, I'm not saying we're getting rid of paper board packets yet, but I would like to see if anybody would be willing to try to go the iPad route, and we start doing this, and maybe we just get one for Andrew, and you guys can see how it works, or try a board meeting with it. And I believe Alan said at the beginning, before the meeting started, that the council's going this route.
That's what Mike wants to do, yeah. And I'm kind of the guinea pig, because I volunteered. I've been doing it for, 2-3 months now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so simple. You can just put your finger down, and you'll get text or freehand, and you can just make doodles in there. It's the coolest thing.
So,
No, I don't want to, if somebody's strong against it, I know Perry.
So you're saying you can
I'm
put
not-
notes
I know,
on it by.
I know,
I'm not against it.
Highlight
I'm just
something
a
else.
Stone Age guy.
I know,
I
and
mean,
I-
I finally went to a,
Yeah.
That's why I was going to ask how it's going, but I see you still have the button things where each one is.
yeah.
it doesn't, it looks like it's duct taped together by now, but,
Does your VCR still flash 12?
Yeah, it just.
How do you feel about it,
Doesn't
Marty?
bother me a bit.
What's a VCR?
Through work, I've got a different system that we have to use every day for my job, and they give us phones, but we can do the exact same thing. It's a neat feature, I like it. Once you get used to it, it's an invaluable tool.
The only thing you have to
And
work
it's
on is
simple.
orientation of the page. Once you get that figured out, it'll be better. Because I have pages that are sideways and.
What?
Oh, well, they rotate.
so how much time are
When I
you
turn it,
going
it
to
rotates the other way.
spend?
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
exactly.
It's a PDF.
Oh, no, it's a
thing.
PDF.
Time are we
Yeah.
to spend training us on this?
We can hold trainings.
It's not that bad.
I'll show you.
You probably got kids.
You
that
got 5
teach you.
minutes?
Have a glass of
I
wine.
know. My kids
Okay.
will teach me stuff sometimes. I'm finding things that they learned on the iPad, and like, oh my God.
Sign
I
me
didn't know
up.
that.
Sign me up.
Yeah, that's actually something I was talking to Mark about when I was on council, was trying to get the council on a paperless system. And I think it was something that was in our long-term plan, but
And,
Never made it a
and
problem.
I'm not opposed to it at all. In fact, you're gonna see in your packets, I asked Steve to print out the accounts payable, because I wanted everybody to be able to, they're already approved, but I felt with some of the projects that we have going on, and we've approved things financially, but all of a sudden you're going, the TV news made me think about some things of the claims that, okay, Lowell Light and Power spent X amount of dollars on the biodigester or this or that. And there are things that we've done to the building and approved, but all of a sudden, if we have this and it says, so we sent this check to Rockford Construction, and we can go back and go, oh, what was that or whatever, and I found not having that, I could have asked, as it says, you can, ask us for those, but I felt that it was important to have those things so that you can glance through them. And if we have the iPads, then again, they don't have to print out 18 pages of accounts payable or whatever. But I think for me, I think it's good that we get back to, even though it's just, you're going through and going, oh, again, when we first got on the board, I was looking at, it was, why are we using this vendor that's in Grand Rapids or whatever, when we have a vendor in Lowell that could provide the same thing or whatever. So I just think it's important to have that. So again, another reason why to go to.
So you're on board. Another reason.
Embrace change.
I love it. I'm not saying they're gonna be your next board meeting, but, and if you wanna, do you wanna get a couple and see how it works? Or do you want me to just commit?
Well, my feeling is doing it both ways, to me, doubles the amount of work for our staff.
Right.
So let's decide as a board to go one way or the other and just go that way. I mean, and if it makes it easier on our staff and everybody to go with the iPads, then I believe that's what we should do. But, I want our staff, I don't want to have to take up our staff's time of doing this and doing that and printing this, but then sending it off on the iPad, doubling
Right.
their work.
How many of these iPads are you looking at purchasing, or maybe they're not Androids or whatever you want to call them?
One for each board member.
Okay, staff here has theirs, they don't need them, they're
Their
good?
staff is actually, and this is completely independent and
Basically
separate.
replacing this with the tablet.
Yeah,
We are going to be purchasing tablets for staff for a completely separate reason.
reasons.
Actually for like timesheets and work orders out in the field.
That's awesome.
So, I mean, obviously, like, people who attend the board meeting, there would have to be some excess tablets, so we're not printing out paper copies for Ryan and Barney, and so we'll talk. Verizon is actually very, I mean, our governmental account with them, it's not like we're paying the retail, it's heavy discounts that we get, so we'll see if we can get some.
Well, you could take that information and put it up on the screen real easy too during the meeting.
I would imagine we
So
could.
don't have to necessarily print it, it's still there and scroll through.
Yeah, and I don't think it'll happen next month. I want to make sure, Bill Cook from Zealand is actually bringing his tablet next week to the MPPA meeting, so I can see how it works, and I want to make sure everything's formatted right and works smoothly, and we know how to transfer documents to you, and Betsy doing whatever she has to do could take some time to get all of that security stuff set up. So I imagine maybe the end of first quarter next year, we could be there, but I don't think it's going to be January.
Yeah.
So, Alan, yours is city council, and you have all this in there right now then, correct?
Yeah, well, this is mine.
Yeah,
So
but-
City council puts it in here,
Right.
they email it to me, I put it in, and I get the packet from Sharon. And so I have it here, and I don't have all the paper at home that I don't dare throw it away.
I know, I've got two
So I-
binders right
I
now.
store, it's either stored here or on my laptop,
Right.
so I always have it when I.
And the reason I'm asking is, you're here, you're there, Jim and I sit on another board too.
Yeah, well,
And if they're multifunctional between,
Yeah.
so you're only buying one.
but, yeah, and it's a PDF, and pretty much any device will handle a PDF.
Yeah,
I
it
think
could be
the-
cool. I mean, you could have your audits there,
Yeah.
different documents that, oh, I wish I had that, or different contracts that you want. You can create folders and make it, I'm sure, searchable for different files.
Yeah, and I think the one issue is just whether, if you're using a personal one, do you have to choose with storing, you have to maintain records on it, or I don't know the issues of there, but I
Yeah,
know that was
no.
one thing about the email address and the same kind of thing. You just want to make sure, like you said, for FOIA or other things, that
Yeah.
you've got the right separation, but,
Yep.
I mean, if it's possible, maybe we even try it if people have a tablet they want to use. We could, but I mean, it's pretty basic. Like I said, it's just a PDF. You already make a PDF of these then?
I just scan it through our
Through the
scanner.
copier, okay.
Yep, for a PDF. So it's real simple, I
Yeah.
just, my packet or whatever.
Yeah, and you're right, Betsy does a really good job. I get all my emails on this phone through the city. It's the coolest thing.
Right.
So, yeah, she'll do well for you.
21st century.
Yeah.
Here we come.
So it's-
I'd
I guess
make
we're
a
kind of on the
motion, yeah.
payables.
Yeah, that's all I have unless there's questions about the payables.
You guys don't type all that stuff in, right?
All that?
Like the payables, like, you don't type in everyone's pant size and
Yeah.
someone has to type that in?
Yes, I do.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's just a month's
Okay.
worth.
Well, now I know that Ryan and I have the same size pants.
Freedom of information right there. Yeah. Boy.
Yeah, that's Julie, when we process the payables, she'll type everything in.
Well, I said there's a lot of detail in here, you know.
Yes.
I guess I haven't seen the city's tables in a while. When I was on
We like
council, they
detail.
didn't have quite as much detail.
With that, are we gonna try to make a motion to go ahead and look at the 5 or 6 pads tonight, or do you gonna wait till it gets pricey?
I don't think that,
For that, 'cause it's fairly cheap.
yeah, it shouldn't go over the spending limit, and it's really just a change in how we're procedurally handling our
Okay.
meetings, so I don't think it would require any vote.
I'm in favor of it, so.
Okay. Well, good to hear. Thanks for being receptive, everybody. It's exciting.
Okay, that ends your manager's report. Moving on, schedule of meetings. You'll see that our schedule here, our next board meeting is January 12th at 6 PM, located here. And with that, board comment. Andrew?
Welcome to the board.
Thank you.
Hope you enjoy it. Look forward to getting to know you. Aside from that, I guess, it was a, I guess, I mean, I don't want to talk about the battle district, I kind of need to, but it's kind of sad what happened, but I guess the one encouraging thing I liked was at the last meeting we had, there's a lot of people from the public there, I don't know how many, but a lot, and there was actually fairly good dialogue with them. I mean, they were upset, but I've been in other meetings with lots of public there, and I mentioned this at that meeting too, but they usually have some people who are just mad, they just want to vent, or they just want to insult somebody, and there really wasn't that that joint meeting. So that was pretty impressive. I mean, these people have been dealing with a lot for a long time. They were clearly emotional, but, you know, somebody made a point, at one point, somebody, I forget who, but he mentioned, I think that he knew you and Greg.
Mike Koistra.
Okay, that he got up and he said, that, like, he said something about, you know, the board and the council failed and whatever, and then he got back up and said, just so you know, I didn't mean it personally, and I appreciated that people had that approach, that they were kind of willing to work it out. So hopefully when we have other tough issues going forward in the city, or, you know, the public continues to be as involved and as understanding as they can be. And I guess with that, just everyone have a happy holidays and happy new year.
Jim?
Marty, welcome on the board. I think you're going to find that this one is a little bit different than being on the planning commission. A lot more details and things like that part of it. With that, everybody have a great holiday, and we'll see you back next year.
Tina?
Also, welcome to the board.
Thank you.
And again, I feel the same way that what you had said, Andy, is that there was a lot of passionate people in the audience, and that we feel that too, that we wanted it to work. So with that said, I think we're moving forward into the right direction, and we're going to have a great summer next year. And I'm still very proud of Lowell, because everybody came out and told us where they live, and what their name is, and they owned it, and how they felt. And that's That's what I love. Nobody wrote into the newspaper with a fictitious name or stood there and just decided to scream at us, and I appreciate that, so. Happy holidays, everyone.
Marty?
First off, thank you for the warm welcome. I graduated in this town. I went to the schools. I grew up here. When all the problems with the biodigester and everything else came around, and I thought, you know, I want to be part of this to help the city, help the low-light power get through whatever it is that, you know, that they're going to be going through. In the process, I got to meet a lot of the low-light power employees. Ryan and I have met some of the other people that work out in the field, and I was just impressed on how dedicated everybody is to what's going on here. And when the opening came available to come on, I wanted to be a part of this, get back and to help. So with that, thank you for your warm welcomes, and I wish you all a happy holiday.
Alan?
Welcome. You're going to be a great addition, Marty, and make sure you get a tour. The tour is phenomenal. You learn so much, and you really come to appreciate everything that goes on with low light and power and the hard work that is here. Everybody have a Merry Christmas. And Perry, I really appreciated your comments. You keep enlightening me with some of the questions that you ask, and I really appreciate you. So, yeah, have a Merry Christmas and thank you.
Okay. My comment is about the biodigester. Again, we had a special meeting. My regret is that the board and the city council didn't take earlier action in the years previous, and maybe we wouldn't be where we are right now if we would have taken action and they would have did the odor mitigation and other things. Because again, when I, being one of the people that went to Germany, to Europe, looked at it, smelled it there, and as we were coming back, it wasn't, you know, should we be doing this? It was that, it was like, where can we put the second one? I mean, it was such a great thing, and whether we chose the wrong company or whatever, I'm not sure. All that will probably play out. But again, that's my regrets that we didn't do that sooner. Welcome aboard, Marty. I've been on the board of our board members the longest, over 10 years. And it is a board that you learn something and learn how the power system, just like talking about the capacity and what that means to us and everything, and you still, you know, to this day, you'll be in a meeting, you're going, I didn't quite understand that. And again, it's not something that you learn overnight, or at least I found that you don't, the whole, it's a very complicated business. You are, you know, you're in business, I'm in business, you know, you try to sell your product. It's the only business I know of that you want to sell product, which is electricity, and at the same time, you're telling people to conserve. You know, so it's a really tightrope that you walk, and to be profitable, but at the same time, want the community to conserve on electricity. And with that, happy holidays. Looking forward to our Christmas lunch with the guys at the DPW and Low Light and Power.
That's the
With that-
19th, right?
That is. Yep. So with that, I would
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
adjourn.
Yes.
Support.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Good thing.